Rauscher here. Today we're going to be talking about Stony Hill Nugget 254. It's entitled, "The Illusion of Separateness Creates Greed, Loneliness, and Unhappiness." The illusion of separateness comes out of our childhood. We work very hard when we're little to create a sense of self-identity. Unfortunately, the self-identity that we create is the illusion of separateness. In other words, we pretend that we are a separate self, separate from everything else in the universe. And unfortunately, that is a gross distortion of reality, and we'll get into that here in a minute. The illusion of separateness is unconscious. It is not something we do intentionally. It does not mean that you and I are bad for doing it. It's just one of those things that happens to be a belief that we grow up with, and we never challenge it. And it's the not challenging that belief that really causes the problems for us. So, why? Because it creates a sense of otherness. When we have the illusion of separateness, everything in the universe becomes other. It becomes an it. And when we take that otherness and we begin to see the entire world and everyone in it as an other, it begins to create conflict, violence, and suffering in our relationships. It's safe to say that there is no greater or more dangerous belief that we hold from childhood that is going to do more damage to our relationships than the illusion of separateness. This is a really important belief system that needs to be paid attention to and needs to be dropped. Okay? The illusion is the creator of depression, loneliness, and unhappiness. And as a therapist in private practice, I don't think there's any other belief that we can hold that creates more depression, more loneliness, and more unhappiness in our lives than that simple illusion of separateness. It is so powerful and so damaging. In 2010, 253 million prescriptions for antidepressants. We have an entire culture that's based on sadness and loneliness and depression and conflict. And it creates huge amounts of depression and sadness inside us, and it's all based on the illusion. This illusion of separateness, and this really startled me when I saw this statistic. It's more dangerous, literally, and this has been proven scientifically, it is more dangerous to our health and longevity than smoking, obesity, or poverty. Talk about a heavy hitter. And it's just a simple belief system that we just never question. Hopefully you will begin to after this video and reading this article. Now, why is this illusion so dangerous? Because it is embedded in our culture, whether our culture is in the workplace, whether it's in a community. Everything that we do, even our educational system, teaches us, and it's all based on a model of capitalism, the economic model, but it teaches us a worldview of competition. Every relationship, every other person becomes other. And we begin to take on the attitude of, well, what's in it for us? It's a very self-focused, kind of narcissistic belief system. And it controls all of our thinking and all of our behaviors. There's almost nothing we do in the world that isn't controlled by this belief system, this illusion, okay? So if we think about this, it means that we are conditioned as adults to believe in the illusion of separateness in the workplace. We're taught to think and behave competitively with a focus on self, what's in it for us. And then we come home and we walk in the house at the end of a work day and we try to bring this thinking, this illusion, into our relationships, into our marriages, into our relationships with family and community and kids and everyone. And if you stop and think about it, it turns everyone we know and love into an object, okay? And it's all unconscious, and it's all the illusion of separateness. So, fifth major point in this article, the illusion of separateness is the most dangerous human belief system that we could possibly hold. And we need to drop it out of our thinking. And that's very simple to do in terms of paying attention. It will become, you'll find it to be a challenge to get it into your day-to-day life and begin to see the opposite of the illusion, and that is the reality that I call the right relationship with nature. If we look at nature, nature is teaching us that everything is about mutual benefit and cooperation, not competition. In other words, in reality, nature is teaching us that everything in the universe we're interconnected and interdependent with. There is no such thing as other. There is no such thing as separate self. Every single living creature, at least on this planet, is interconnected with everything else. We can't survive if we're the Lone Ranger going out pretending that we're alone in the universe. It's not going to work. Okay. It's really easy when you think of the illusion to think that somehow we're overstating it. But what I encourage you to do is to look at it from the standpoint of how we convert all of our relationships into this competitive what's in it for me model, okay? And if we do that, what I think you'll find is that it really is a belief system that needs to go. And it's driving our humanity. Another way to say it is that it really is driving humanity into the darkness. And when we look at the world conflict, it's all created by this illusion of separateness. And we are creating a world that's getting darker and darker because of that illusion of separateness. So, pretty important, okay? We need to drop it. We need to begin to look at mutual benefit and cooperation. Every time we go to work, pay attention. You're being conditioned to believe it even more so. It creates depression, it creates other, and it's totally unconscious, and it needs to go. So if this article is useful for you and helpful, feel free to pass it on to your friends and anyone else that you think might benefit from this article. And if you do, thank you so much again for supporting the work that we do here at Stony Hill, both the writing and the videos that we offer free of charge. Okay? Remember, you're not an isolated self. You're an interdependent and interconnected person with everything else in the universe. So have a good, interdependent, interconnected week with those around you. Okay? See you down the road.